This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, a day to be seized, yeah. A day I can feel my spirit set free. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and high up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day all my dreams come true. Feel the Spirit working its way through. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and high up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Oh, good morning. Welcome to West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Reverend Clyde Goings, and yes, I am very glad to be home. I'm really glad to see a lot of people that I miss when I'm not here, and then I'm also glad to see a lot of new people. So welcome everybody that's new. We are really glad that you're here joining us this Sunday. I have a lot of announcements, so I have to speak really fast, and I'm not done with vacation yet, so I'm trying to get back in the gear here. All right, so the first announcement, I was going to say the most important announcement, but it's not, because we have the second announcement is the most important announcement. But the first announcement is we're having Dining with the Dudes. I have to tell you that. So please stay for lunch afterwards. It's going to be great food. There will be fried chicken, just so you know. Anyway, so that is right after service for wonderful fellowship, wonderful food. And so now I'd love Julie to come up with her commercial announcement.
And she has a partner coming from way back.
Are you ready for some fundraising? Hi, everyone. It's Julie.
And Kendra.
Your Gourmets for God Goddesses, kicking off another week of the only fundraiser you can eat.
We are at the beginning. We are at the line of scrimmage and are ready to make the play. And it's up to you to get the ball down the field. Hut, hike.
Huddle up. Here's the play. And it's no Hail Mary pass. First, you have to come up with an event. Any event will work as long as food is involved. All events are welcome, and you can host at your home, purchase a meal for others at your favorite restaurant, or plan an outing with food included. You can even plan a virtual event around food, and cooking is not required. You can't possibly fumble with all the possibilities.
That's right. Snap the ball and get planning your event. Your event can be a tour of your favorite countries through cuisine, a conversation or class with snacks, a craft and crafted talent or special skill that you want to share over some appetizers and cocktails, a movie or game night, or even a garden party with desserts. Your event can even coincide with your favorite holiday or holiday theme.
Hosts, pick a date for the event and drill it into your calendar. Dates should not be flexible or rescheduled. That's a flag on the play. We are collecting event donations today. No false starts. We're running it to the end zone here, people. We need your donation forms turned in no later than Sunday, September 25th.
Choose your strategy. You can pick up a form in Holmes Base, submit it in person, or you can find an electronic and printable versions of the form on our website and email it to us. Either way you choose, you're a champion for participating.
If you want to learn more about hosting an event and for a full rundown of this super fun Gourmets for God fundraiser, you can see the information online at www.wvcsl.com. Under About Us, click on Announcements, and find the Gourmets for God page.
Keep your eye on the field goal for that extra point and get those donation forms submitted today.
See you next week, and go team! Together we are big for fun.
All right. We also have gourmet for gods, not just goddesses. I'm one of the gods, and I cook really good meals. So, yeah. So I think this is one of our best fundraisers that we have. It's a lot of fun, and I've done it for the last couple of years, and I've actually made a couple of meals, and it's just a great time getting people together. Good food, good company. And just lots of fun. So I'm really excited about getting this started. I've already got my meals planned, what I'm making, believe it or not. All right, so a couple other announcements. So you might have seen these envelopes on your chair, these beautiful designs. Actually, Karen Izzy actually designed these, each one of them individually herself while she was on the plane. And this is not for our tithe. Reverend Karen is going to be speaking about this a little bit later, so we don't want you to put your tithe in here, but we do want you to know that that is there and available for you. The other thing I want to let everybody know is that on September the 25th, we're having what's called a blended memorial service for some of our members that have passed since COVID. So they didn't pass because of COVID, but since actually right before COVID and through COVID, we've had multiple people in our community that have transitioned, and we want to honor them, the ones that we have not had a chance to honor them yet. So we're going to have a blended service, which will be unique and new, and I know it'll be beautiful because Reverend Karen's going to be doing it. And that's going to be on September 25th, so we're inviting everybody. Please join us in honoring all of our members that were here that are no longer here. All right, and I think that's it on the announcements. So we come together, believe it or not, every Sunday, not just for food, but we come together to remember the truth, that we're whole, perfect, and complete just the way we are. And we come together to support each other on this beautiful journey called life, knowing that each one of us is that individualized expression of God. So we're glad that you're here. We're glad that we are doing this together. So before we turn it over to the Bradfords and opening up this beautiful music, I want to also announce that Reverend Sandra is a Unity minister, and she is joining us now on the pulpit to do the invocations. And so this is just another way of us just uniting as one family and expressing life the way it should be. So... All right, so now if everybody will just sit back and relax and just enjoy and breathe in the Bradford's beautiful voices and the beautiful songs as we open our hearts for Reverend Karen's message. Thank you.
Apologies.
So just take a deep breath.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know
will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place.
And we quiet ourselves in this moment, in this now moment, feeling the presence of God right here, right now. Living, loving presence. We feel that presence within us, surrounding us, as us. We are one with your essence, and we are grateful. We're grateful for this loving community that we are a part of. We open ourselves to your leading, guiding, and directing through the prayers, the readings, the music, and the message, knowing that it is all coming together for us to listen, to hear what is ours to be and to do. We walk in light, hearing as we listen. We walk in love, being that love that is showered upon us and is in the whole world, for God is love. We use our hands and our feet to do the work that is ours to do as we listen and know that we have the capability. We are only called from the gifts, the skills, talents that we have been given, and we open ourselves to use them, to use ourselves in whatever way we are led, guided, and directed. I am grateful for this time, grateful that we can set aside this quiet time to be and to listen, to hear what Divine Mother, Father, God is speaking to us this day and always. And we give thanks in the name and in the nature of Jesus Christ, our way shower and brother. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. My reading is from The Healing Letters by Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity. To be truly healed and quickened by the life more abundant, one must forget the past and the limitations of the past and offer every thought, every ounce of energy to spirit to be used in bringing God's kingdom of light and love and order and beauty and health into the earth, into the lives of all peoples. This giving is not to be done in human consciousness and might, but in the realization that it is God working through one's soul and body to increase one's life and strength and substance to fulfill his perfect plan. One's body is to be thought of as the temple of the living God. One's arms and hands are to be the thought of and used as God's arms and hands. the expression of God minds, ideas of power and loving service and splendid work. The executive power of the mind in its relation to things that we think of as belonging in the three-dimensional world is expressed through the arms and hands. One should think of whatever one is led to do as being God's work. One should know and rejoice in one's innate ability to accomplish that work. One should realize that one is free to decide wisely and to do whatever will benefit oneself and others. One should see others in this beautiful spiritual world of activity and bless them. God is in us as the very life and substance that we use, and our use of God's gifts increases our ability to use and direct them. God is life. We make that life into living. God is love. We make divine love into loving. God is substance. We take the substantial reality and bring it through into the manifest world. God is wisdom. We claim oneness with divine wisdom, and it expresses through us as wise thoughts and decisions and actions. The light of life that glows from heart and face, yes, every cell of the body. And we take a moment just to allow those words. And so it is.
So the talk today is going to be about divine confidence and building confidence within ourselves. And I picked this song. It's musical theater. That's my roots of musical theater. And it's from the musical The King and I, and it's called I Whistle a Happy Tune. Whenever I feel afraid, I hold my head erect and whistle a happy tune, so no one will suspect I'm afraid. While shivering in my shoes, I strike a careless pose and whistle a happy tune, so no one ever knows I'm afraid. The result of this deception is very strange to tell, for when I fool the people I fear, I fool myself as well. I whistle a happy tune, and every single time the happiness in the tune convinces me that I'm not afraid. Make believe you're brave, and the trick will take you far. You may be as brave as you make believe you are. You may be as brave as you make believe you are.
Oh, that was fun. I don't know. I thought that was a bit of a gamble, whistling in the middle of singing. I wouldn't take that on, but then again, you know, if you're lucky, I don't sing. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's wonderful to see so many beautiful faces sitting here in the sanctuary. We have something to talk about today. I'm all revved up, as I often get when fun things are about to unfold. I am speaking today on, you were absolutely right. We're talking about confidence today. And I want to talk about, I intend for us to have a really good conversation about how to have that, how to build up that spiritual confidence in our own lives so that we can move through all the events and the experiences and the stuff we do and just the way life is ever changing every day. But before I do that, I just want to thank you, Reverend Sandra. That was so wonderful to hear a different voice. And I love Reverend Sandra is a part of our community, and she comes as an ordained minister from Unity, and Unity and religious science are cousins. So the Fillmores, it was so perfect that you did a Myrtle Fillmore reading. I got woolly bumps a couple times just because the language is slightly different, and so it charges me up to hear the same stuff in a different tone. What did you know that, by any chance, Reverend Sandra, not to put you on the spot, but my favorite Charles Fillmore quote is that one where he goes, "I sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm." Into his 90s, he would say that quote. I think he wrote it in his 90s. "I sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm," and I think it goes on to say to I spring forth and do that which ought to be done by me with that zeal and with that enthusiasm. In your 90s, do you want to be that full of life? You know, if you're going to be 90, you want that. We want some of that. So I have that on my desk because I love it so much. There's a picture of the Fillmores that I keep right on my desk. So thank you. It was just lovely. What Unity and religious science have in common is that both Ernest Holmes and the Fillmores studied with Emma Curtis Hopkins, right? Got sort of the mother or the godmother of all of New Thought, and a real strong influence in the feminist movement as well, but she wasn't as much known for that. So we're talking about being equal to any task today. We're talking about standing in our spiritual truth and building a spiritual confidence so that we remember, not that we become equal, but that we start to remember there's something God-given about us and just the way that we are both human and divine. And so I found this wonderful quote. It's actually an affirmation that Ernest Holmes left us with. There are lots of he was really good at writing affirmations. One of the best books to find affirmations in is This Thing Called You. It's a little favorite of many of the practitioners and ministers. But I found this in the Essential Ernest, and listen to what he says here. "The law of good is continuously operative in my life. I am always equal to any task set before me. I am confident of my ability to meet every situation." Are those great words? Yeah, those are really good words, and this is why it's nice to have some strong affirmations in your life. This is why many of us read the daily reads in the magazine or one of the 365-day books where they have quotes and affirmations to kind of guide us and build us up every single day. So that's what we want to look at this morning. That's my goal, is for us to talk about that kind of undeniable faith that will carry us through, that will give us and hold us in this extreme confidence so that we do feel able to meet any task. And it doesn't mean we don't get scared. I sort of thought I love that whole, I don't know that I've ever seen the play, but I love every variation of that movie, The King and I. I almost said The Egg and I. Different movie, but yeah, I like both those movies. Do you know The Egg and I? Do some of you know that movie? That's one. Mary Hines knows. Judy's raising her hand. I see it. Yeah. That was the first Ma and Pa Kettle movie ever made, but it's not really, they weren't really starring in it. It was like Fred McMurray and who was the woman? And it's such a, Yes, it was Claudette Colbert. Oh yeah, I love that movie. But anyhow, boy, we digress there. Let's get back on track. I have unshakable confidence that we can do this. Dr. Holmes, who is the founder of the Science of Mind teaching, Dr. Holmes referred to faith as a divine self-confidence. Faith is a divine self-confidence, and he believed that we grow into it. That the more we study spiritual truths and the more we immerse ourselves in this wisdom, that we grow this cumulative knowledge. It's the way that I always see it is like the consciousness, our very own personal individual consciousness is always being fed by whatever we throw in there, whatever our thoughts are, whatever we're studying or looking at or watching on TV is shaping our consciousness. And the spiritual work, the intention of having a spiritual practice is so that we can keep building that cumulative effect of a depth of spiritual understanding that will serve us so that when we need it, we will be equal to any task. So in the words of Dr. Holmes, he said, a cumulative knowledge shows us that we are governed, we are protected, and we are sustained by Spirit itself. You know, when I got goosebumps was when you said substance, and then you used the word substantial right behind it, and I went, oh, that's good. That's good. I had never made that connection before. That was really beautiful. So if we want to see results in our life, we invest some time in grooming ourselves in these spiritual principles and ideas so that for the sole purpose of remembering, we are governed, protected, and sustained by Spirit. I firmly believe that this, my friends, is the secret to life. Just to have it in your back pocket, just to, I feed myself when I'm doing my spiritual work. I just, fill myself up. I eat nutritious spiritual things, and I have an insatiable appetite for it so that it will serve me when I'm not so able to remember, when I do get afraid. So what was that line it said? So that when I'm afraid, how did it say? Like, I'll No, but that was really good. Anything to make her sing a little better. I'm sorry, people on home. It's horrible for you when that happens. But she was on a roll. I couldn't stop her. She's like, but it was it's like put on something about like putting on a face so that I don't show the fear. Right? Fake it till you make it. We sometimes say, and that really is something that helps. I notice in difficult times, if I'm having a bad day and somebody comes in or a hard day, or I'm just feeling a little off, if you come to visit me, I feel completely different just after I've spent time with you, right? So we put on something, there's this mutual way that we meet, right? And that we uplift each other just in that way that we connect and come together. And I really love that. So to see results in our life is to witness that cumulative effect of the way that stuff builds and builds. And all we're really doing is having that day-by-day progress. We're just keeping our nose to the grindstone, or we're keeping on, keeping on. Holmes used to say that before it was trendy. So we know that. We've all taken on a big task. Did you ever have a big, you have. We've all had big tasks in our lives where you look at it and you go, whoa, that's going to be a lot of work. I don't know how I'm going to do that. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And so we do that, and then we learn from that experience. We learn that, oh yeah, apparently I could accomplish just about anything. And that's the nature of how we are. And there's a cumulative lesson that we grow into because we do those things, because we follow through and we have those experiences of accomplishing great, magnificent, very large things. One summer, this summer I graduated from when I got my practitioner license in 2001. There's a lot of work and a lot of reading, and I graduated. I feel footloose and fancy free. Is that how you say that? Footloose and fancy free. And what do I want to read? I'm going to read anything I want. Now I don't have to read something for the next class or the next paper I have to write. And so I took on a challenge that a very wise but scary practitioner in my congregation. She was quite advanced in years. Now, that makes me laugh now because I was quite much younger than I am now. And so now I think, oh, she's probably my age. But I think she was in her 80s. But she was amazing, but she really did scare me because she never spoke much. She was short, and she was just like, she didn't smile much, but man, did she know principle. And I ran the bookstore, and so she used to come in, and she would order 5 copies of Joel Goldsmith's The Silence of Thunder, and 5 copies of Emma Curtis Hopkins' High Mysticism. And I was always, what does she do with all those books? A few months later, she'd come back and she'd order 5 more of each of those books. And so one day, I got the courage and I asked her, Margaret, what do you do with those books? Why do you order these books all the time? And she goes, because I give them as gifts. Okay. And then she goes, and you have to read them together. You have to read them at the same time, which now I'm thinking, like, how do you do that? No, I understood what she was saying. And so that summer, after I graduated from Prac Studies, I took those 2 books and I read a couple pages every day. One day I'd read Goldsmith and the next day I'd read Emma Curtis Hopkins. And by the end of summer, I completed both of those books in that pattern. And you know what was really interesting is every day, no matter where I was in one book, the next book would complement exactly what I'd read the day before in the other book, because that's the way life is, right? We have this wisdom that is cumulative. We don't really acquire it, but we grab it and we marinate it. We let it. We think about it. We ponder it. We allow it to become a part of our being and who we are. And at the end of that summer, I completely understood mysticism without ever having studied mysticism, because I studied so in depth those 2 beautiful people who contributed great works to what we have in the world. So Margaret was right. When you take on a task and you do it every day, and it is of substance, it's substantial, and it feeds you, in that way, we are changed from that experience. So I encourage you to think of what kind of a spiritual task might you take on in your own life that could be your transformational experience, something where you can stand back and see, sort of measure your own growth and see that we do advance, we do deepen, and our faith is strengthened by all of that. You see, we're created to be that way, right? This gorgeous body that we all have is like designed to accumulate greater wisdom the longer that we live. And so Ernest Holmes refers to that as spiritual self-reliance. Now, self-reliance is a term that I'm pretty sure Holmes got from Ralph Waldo Emerson, because we've been told, and it does appear when you study Holmes in depth and you're familiar with Emerson, you can see the influence of Emerson in our material. And Holmes's, we've been told, his favorite essay of Emerson was the essay entitled Self-Reliance. So when Holmes speaks of that, he is very specific on understanding it to be associated with our own personal spiritual integrity. Now, let me read you the quote from Holmes. Holmes said, "Spiritual self-reliance causes an undeniable faith in a power." You know, that power that's greater than we are. In a power that is able, that is willing, that is ready to fulfill every legitimate desire. So we're doing all we can for our own spiritual growth. And so when we talk about self-reliance or we talk about self-confidence, we're not speaking to those ideas in an egoic sort of way. We're talking about the spiritual depth of truth. So and this was the gift of Emerson, and this is what Holmes is suggesting, sorry, did you hear that? Can you hear that? There's a little something going on today in my. It's funny, when I don't talk, it doesn't happen. Holmes is talking about the way that Emerson was so firm in our spiritual integrity that, I think, and I've taught classes in this because it really matters to me, I think we should all invest some time in figuring out our own spiritual theology. Your personal theology. What do you believe? Because the depth of your spiritual beliefs will not be exactly the same as mine. Right? So we are sitting in this room and no two people have exactly the same God. Remember that day Eddie Watkins was here singing? Oh, you wouldn't have been here. Eddie Watkins was here and he was singing and he went, everybody has their own concept of God. You know what that means? There are 7 billion different gods that we pray to. And I love that idea. I think that's a gorgeous way of looking at it because once we understand what we believe and we see that our spiritual values are aligned to those principles, that is our personal integrity. And when I'm clear about what my beliefs are, then if your belief is different than mine, that won't offend me because I know what I believe and I know it's not my job to make you believe what I believe. Right? Isn't that great that a minister could talk that way? And look at a minister from another faith is sitting there agreeing, right? It's like that is the whole package for me. That's why I love this stuff so much. So we want to be true to our higher self. And in order to be true to your higher self, you have to know what your higher self believes, what your higher self thinks. And then you will know how to feed your spiritual appetite. So we hold true to these ideas under all circumstances. Things can happen that can rattle us, but it doesn't change my core belief, right? Because that's the core of who you are. Now, we have been living our lives according to those values and these principles, these spiritual truths for forever, for as long as there's been this belief, for as long as people have met in this building. And even before we had this building, there was a spiritual community that was waiting for this building to be available for us. And we have proven that we can align ourselves to principle no matter what happens, because almost 3 years ago, I can't even believe I'm talking that way now, but almost 3 years ago, we abruptly were called to a lockdown. They called it a lockdown. The entire world is impacted by this pandemic, and the leaders of every spiritual community, but I can speak for the leadership of this spiritual community, we were called to action. We had to act quick, we had to act fast, and we couldn't evaluate too much of what was going on. One Sunday, everything business as normal, and a Sunday later, we could not have a normal service. And so, I remember telling Reverend Clyde, I am not going to stand on the stage. It feels disrespectful at this time where things feel so uncertain. Everything is so uncertain. We are going to meet, we are going to do the best we can, and we're going to sit in a little circle of, I remember we used to have the chairs back there, and we made a circle of chairs back there, and you know what? I don't even think we had a plan. I don't even know that we had a plan. But Julie showed up with her phone, and Tracy Herrick showed up with her phone, and was it you, Sue? Were you the third one? We had 3 people filming me saying God only knows what. I don't even remember what I said. It was a stunning, really scary time in the history of our existence for everybody, and we did it. We did it. Now, it's a little choppy. I love going back and looking because they're all archived. There are 3 different recordings posted on for that day, and they have quite a few hits if you go back and you look at them. We keep watching them. We can't believe we pulled it off. It was great. We keep going back to look at it. And we were pretty proud of ourselves. And then we reconfigured what we were going to do. Then in another week's time, I said, I'm going to sit up front. I did not want to be on the platform. I don't know why. It just felt important to me. But eventually we realized, and I sat in that chair, and we put that chair right up here, and we had a stool here, one of those, I think, and we had books stacked. You didn't know that, did you? We had books stacked, and we had the laptop. We upgraded from the phones to the laptop, and then every week we would encounter some sort of a glitch a little hitch in our giddy up every week. And then you know what we did? We took those obstacles and we moved forward. Okay, a little more information. Now we know what won't work. And eventually, Kathy Rose Crawford brought in her brilliant son who understands technology, and he said, you need Ethernet, and we got Ethernet, and Sue Witter bought us a microphone so we could have and then through the months that followed, we just continued to upgrade and upscale and do until November when we reopened our doors. Now here's the front of that story. Juliana, Miss Funny Juliana, who's Gourmet for God goddess. Go team. I just have so many fun thoughts, memories of how we did this. Juliana had been the person that was upstairs with our youth. Now, it was sketchy whether or not we actually had youth. What we had upstairs were some of our grandkids. I will admit that. And so it got to where we weren't having any kids, and Juliana says to me one Sunday, and we didn't know each other that well yet. Juliana says to me, if nobody's here, I'm going to sit down here and listen to the talk. And I went, that's a good idea. You should be doing that. And you know what she did? This was before COVID. This is probably, I'm going to guess, maybe 2 months. It was before Christmas, not that much. She would sit either over there or over here somewhere, and she would quietly, nobody even knew, she would hook up her phone to Facebook Live, and she would just hold it right up against her body so it wouldn't wiggle too much, and she would film the service, and it would go live on Facebook. Is that great? And then there would be other people. I think Mark would film a segment. Everybody was getting this. We were all getting this hit. We should be on Facebook Live. Why aren't we doing live? Well, guess what we did in March of 2020? We went Facebook Live. And we just did what we needed to do, and we continue to do that. Now, we came to realize in this very up close and personal way, obstacles were absolutely normal. Obstacles were not problems to overcome. Obstacles were just, like Edison looking for the right combination to get the incandescent light bulb to shine. And we did it, and we did not do it begrudgingly. And I want you to know that the whole time we were doing all of that, not one person in our leadership team, not a single soul, ever thought we wouldn't be successful. Right? We knew we would be successful. We never worried about it. Now, not only did we do that, we demonstrated that spiritual self-reliance. We had faith that there was a power that was ready and willing and able and right there as the substance of what we needed to pull that off. We had complete faith in it. We didn't do no woo-woo magic, we just kept affirming. Some days we would, oh my God, okay, so back to script. Yeah, I have such beautiful memories of how calm Juliana would be through all of it. It was amazing. It was wonderful, beautiful to witness. Yeah. Self-appointed herself in the scariest job in the whole world. Are we on the air this Sunday or not? I don't know, Julie, up to you. But we did it. Not only did we do that and do that well, but we continued to flourish. Let me tell you a little something else. It's so interesting that some of the people sitting here today are sitting here today because so we were having a campaign. Life was going fine. We were collecting money, and you guys were all contributing so that we could get the outside of this building painted because the paint was peeling and it was looking pretty sad. And we had, I don't remember how much money we had, but it wasn't even close to, we weren't even like halfway. I forget how much we had at the time. And a person came up to me and said, I think it was a phone call, I have an opportunity to help get the church painted. I wanna do it. And that's what I did. That's what I did. I gasped, like, really? Do you know what that means? And you know, obviously we had that conversation afterwards. And within a very short time, now the other part of this story that's very cool is that I had a vision that our building would be painted in the spring, and even people on the leadership team kept shaking their head like, how are you going to pull that off? I don't know, I can feel it. I can just feel it. And sure enough, this building was completely painted by the end of spring. At that time, before we had it painted, when we kicked off the campaign, so it might have even been like a year earlier, I don't recall, we did something really cool. We had a prayer. We called for people to come and make a prayer circle around this building. And we gathered here in the dark on a full moon night. There were people walking around the building, praying out loud. There were people on all sides of the building, touching the building and praying. We were envisioning what it would like. There were people in their patio chairs in the parking lot that they brought candles and they put them all around them as they were sitting there praying and supporting us in this beautiful venture. It was magnificent. And so, voila, churches now we're in pandemic, churches are closing, ministers are leaving ministry because it's really hard to do it with the changes that have happened. And our church is thriving. We're getting the building painted. And you know what was really cool is nobody was here. So it was easy. We didn't have to plan it around a Sunday service. And me and Cheryl came to work every day. And the day they had the windows taped off, we were having ceremony inside here and praying and gratitude and all of that. It was a wonderful thing. About a year later, we lost a congregant, a beloved congregant, Dave Barrett. We knew Dave Barrett loved us, but we didn't know he loved us as much as he loved us because he left us a third of his estate. And so about a year ago, I think it was about a year ago, I don't know, my board president has worked so hard because of all these things that have happened on his watch. We were able to put a new roof on this, a much needed new roof on this building, and all new air conditioning throughout the building. That is a huge gift. And so I love that we're, part of why this is all happening today is because the blended memorial service has been, I have been holding that precious since Dave made his transition, because he made his transition in April. We had lockdown in March. And I said, we will have a memorial service for Dave, but we didn't know that the lockdown would go on for so long. In that time, other people passed. So we are on the 25th of September after the service, after you sign up for your Gourmet for God stuff. I heard that date. I recognize that date. We are having a blended memorial service, and Dave is the primary person that made this happen, that set it in my heart that I wanted to do this. We will be honoring seven individuals who have not had memorial services. And it's true, none of them died of AIDS. Oh. True. The next thing in my head is SIDS. COVID, thank you. Woo! Out of sight, out of mind. How good is that? Apparently the pandemic is over. I have declared it. Woo! That was really kind of comical. In the beginning of the year, in the winter this year, another anonymous donor came and said, I want to paint, not physically paint it, but I want to pay to have the sanctuary painted. And we did that. So the only thing that remains, which by the way is so funny because it was always number one on my list, if the girl got her way, she'd have had carpeting in here. Oh, and Papke Hall. Papke Hall was, yeah, I don't do good on saying language. Thank you. Papke Hall was painted like in April or May. We went crazy. Not only did we paint Papke Hall, but this whole building was stripped down and scrubbed clean in ways that you just can't do when you're doing Sunday service. So we have had people step up and do magnificent things that have changed the face of the building. So now the minister still wants the carpet. When I first got here, I said, oh, we need carpet here. And so we are currently having a campaign for carpeting. Reverend Clyde, would you join me up here? So just so you know, when my husband passed in December last year, I prematurely started the carpeting campaign so that people could donate in his honor, because I thought he want that more than anything because of how much I wanted it. And so we have been doing that, and then I sent a letter. I kept in the mid-year letter we sent, I spoke about the carpeting campaign, and we got several donations already. The envelopes that I've spread around the room this morning, a gift of Karen Izzy. She Zen-tangled every single envelope. These are for you if you should desire to contribute to the new carpeting fund. But in order to kick that off, I've been planning this, and I'm so blessed that it worked out this way. We will be continuing with fundraisers, Gourmet for God, and we also have a big Halloween party coming up, and the Bradfords are bringing in the whole band. They'll be dancing and food, and that'll be for Halloween. It'll be the Saturday night before Halloween. And so we have been blessed with $3,000 of donations right now. Right now, we have $3,000 already in the designated funds for the carpeting. The carpeting for this room is going to cost us approximately $11,000. Does that seem right, Mr. President? And so I have been planning this for some time. I predicted I would do this about a year ago. And I am today donating $1,000 toward the fund with the intention of knowing somebody is going to want to match my $1,000.
And I'm supposed to say I'm going to match her $1,000. So I am matching her $1,000.
The problem child. Actually, I liked your enthusiasm when I said it and you went, and I'm going to match it. That was very pleasing to me. Yeah. So I put my check in here, and Reverend Clyde has his envelope, and we are dropping in the contribution boxes by Papke and all around. And so if you want to contribute, we'll be gladly receiving your donations. We are already halfway there. So.
Yeah. So a couple other things. So I was very excited. So Reverend Karen, we talked about in the board meeting, we had had this discussion, and she said that she was going to put up the $1,000, and I said I would be gladly to match it. And so we are looking for more matches so we can get this carpet done before the end of the year. One other thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a GoFundMe page. We're going to be posting that on the Facebook. We're still working on that, but hopefully we'll get it up this week. And so it'll be posted, and then we're asking that if you wouldn't mind reposting it on your Facebook page and hopefully spreading the word so we can get the rest of the money to do the carpet. Again, am not worried about it because of all the beautifications that we've done to this building. And the other thing I want to share, though, is when we did the painting, a lot of people remember this. We've been talking about painting this building for 5+ years, at least since I've been here, right? And so then it all happened at once, and that's exactly how it works. So join us in finishing up this beautification so we can welcome even more people to our spiritual home.
Thank you, Reverend Clyde. I appreciate your help up here. So Walt Disney was such a great guy. Walt Disney, boy, there are so many great facts about Walt Disney that few people know. He was not always successful in his life, but listen to this gorgeous quote. He said, "Somehow, I can't believe that there are any heights that can't be scaled by one who knows the secret of making dreams come true. This special secret can be summarized in 4 C's. These are 4 great words: curiosity, confidence, courage, and constancy." These are the things we're talking about this morning. So to be curious is to be open to possibilities that we haven't even imagined yet. To be confident is a way that we are speaking today in being absolutely certain that we are supported and that the substance and is substantial and we are supported and sourced and guided and directed in every way. Courage is exactly out of the song that you guys just sang, Bradford's, that no fear, face the obstacles, move on. And the constancy is the same day by day by day that Holmes speaks of so beautifully. So we're going to do something right now. I want to bless this building. In the same way we gathered around this building to get the outside painted, we're going to bless this building right now. We're going to bless the sanctuary. So if you are wearing shoes where you can slip them off, take your shoes off. And if not, you can have your shoes on, but put your feet flat on the floor and just feel the ground under your feet. Feel how Mother Earth so beautifully supports us. Look around this room for a moment and notice what in this room, what are the things in this room that bring you comfort, that bring peace to your spirit. Take a breath, take a beautiful, deep, cleansing breath. And if you don't feel like closing your eyes, just take a soft focus right there on the carpeting, right in front of you, and notice your feet resting beautifully on the floor. And again, ask this question: what is it about this place? Or for those of you at home, as you are imagining being here in this room with us, what is it about this sanctuary that calms me, that feeds me, that satisfies me? What are the best memories you have? What are the memories you desire to have in your future? And what have other people gained from their time in this building? In all those years that they met in this room, even before any of us were here. Imagine all the prayers, the ceremonies and the rituals. Imagine how many weddings and baptisms and drumming circles. How many times have we gathered to light candles? Remember the beautiful Taizé services we've held in here. The very tender eulogies and memorials where we have remembered people we love. And with all of these things in the forefront of our minds, begin to just feel grateful for the goodness that this spiritual center has offered to so many souls. Every gathering, every ceremony, every Sunday service, right here in this room. And now become aware of your feet touching the earth. And allow yourself to begin to sense the energy of this big, beautiful earth. Maybe you can even feel that energy coming from the bottom of your feet into your body, a blessing from the Mother flowing through you. Up your legs and through your torso, down your arms and back out again, circulating, moving, flowing perfectly, this gorgeous earthly energy. And now envision at the top of your head, at the very crown of your head, there's this gorgeous, luscious, divine grace from the heavens streaming into your being. So now we have this divine energy mixing and melding and mingling with the earthly energy. And it's a beautiful way for us to be grounded and re-energized. The heavenly and the earthly cohabiting, oneing, cohesive, joining and moving and flowing. And now, think of a blessing that you would like to leave here this morning. All of that gratitude, how much we are grateful. Use that beautiful healing energy to allow a blessing to move through you, to move through your feet into this earth. Allow this beautiful Mother Earth to receive that blessing so that this room is glowing in divine and earthly wisdom. And then finally, we just visualize how gorgeous it will be to have fresh, beautiful carpeting in here. Knowing that we call forward a beautiful future, surrounded in love and joy and peace, and we just breathe that in. Take a nice deep breath and open your eyes. We are equal to this task. We are created in such a way that there is no obstacle too big. There is nothing that could stand in the way of the good that has already been put into motion for us to have. And so I want to close this morning with a lovely quote from a favorite of mine, Howard Thurman, from his book, For the Inward Journey, and the poem is about keeping fresh our moments of high resolve. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. So breathe again. I'm going to just move us right into prayer while we're just feeling all of this freshness. A lot has been said this morning. A lot of reflection on the magnificent ways this community has flourished through the years. And so in the light of this beautiful blessing ceremony, where we have stirred the gratitude within us, remembering that gratitude invites greater blessings. It is an anointing of increase, of beauty, of peace and of love. And I feel that peace and that love of God right here in this room right now. Breathe that in. Feel the love of God stirring at the very center of your own being. Feel that love. And we are reminded how precious this life is. That there is an activity that is God itself that orchestrates a perfect order of all things all the time. It is that presence and that power that created life in the image and likeness of itself. And so we know that we are given this creative power within. We are given this wisdom, and we are invited to build on it. seeing every experience in our life as a stepping stone to the very next experience. We feel that love of God, and we fully recognize that it is the strongest, greatest, most powerful force in the universe. For God is love. And so, right now, in this room, reverberating through the walls, through the thousands and thousands of prayers that have been stored up in this sanctuary, we feel something very powerful, and I know that it is a healing force. So if there is anything that ails us in terms of our physical well-being, we are calling on that power to restore us to our wholeness right now. And so we open our hearts and we open our minds to be receptive to that healing, to that revealing of a greater truth, of the perfection and the way in which we are created and designed. And we allow ourselves to remember yet again that we are up for any task that may be before us, because we understand there is a power, there is a presence, there is a willingness and a readiness. There is something magnificent in this universe that is for us. And so I see that there's a reestablishment of the well-being of all of humanity. I see that there is a perfect order revealing itself in the West Valley as the West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. I see that there is this beautiful flow of life that allows us to express fully these beautiful spiritual theologies that we personalize, and that we allow ourselves to feel free and open to honor the faiths of other religions, or the ways in which our own spirituality may differ slightly from our beloved's. For in that whole, we can see that we are all colors of the rainbow, and that we need each and every piece and part in order to be this collective whole. So I bless this transformation of consciousness that is happening on this planet right now. I know it is good. I know that there is something beautiful that desires to emerge and unfold as our reality. So I say thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, infinite spirit, for all of these blessings and for the blessings that are yet to be revealed. And so together we release this prayer into that dynamic law. We let it be and say, and so it is.
Grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. Everywhere I look and every face I see is love reflected, shining back to me. I just give thanks for all these simple things, the joy and peace that gratitude brings. That's why I'm grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have.
Oh, can you hear me? I am so grateful how all of this works. So I was a little delayed back there coming up here because one of our community members have agreed to match our offering. So we just got another match. So just want to say thank you. It really makes me feel good. And then I want to share a little story just really quick. Just real quick about my friend Julie. So when Reverend Karen was talking about us sitting up here and doing this whole Sunday service, and literally every Sunday we weren't sure if we were going to be on Wi-Fi or on the internet or whatever, and it was very stressful. And the service starts at 10 o'clock. Julie got here at 9:45. I was stressed out because of Julie, not because of the internet. So, but it worked. It worked. So, yes. So, anyways. So, yeah. So the joys of life. So now is the time to remember our truth, that we are living in an abundant world. So we're celebrating the abundance of our own lives as well as the abundance of our community. We don't pass around the offering plate. We have drop boxes right before the Gourmet for God room. I mean, not Gourmet for God, but the dining with the dudes room, and then we have a drop box in the back and the drop box in the bookstore as well. So whatever tithe you guys drop in, we definitely do appreciate it and thank you for it. So let's say our giving affirmation together. I live in a consciousness of good. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Please rise for our last song, everybody. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Now let me hear you. It feels so good to be alive. I ain't thinking about my problems. I'm living now. I'm living now. And I ain't gonna worry about the future. I'm living now. I'm living now. So put your hands up if you feel like having a good time. Put your hands up if you're sharing love with all. Raise your cup if you're hopeful for tomorrow. Put your hands up if you're ready to have some fun. Now sing it. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Again. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. One more time. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Woo!
All right. You feeling good now? So let's say our closing affirmation together. Just repeat after me. I am true to my higher self. I am demonstrating self-reliance. And so it is.
Thanks for being here. Remember, pray off and love much. And more envelopes.